Hello and welcome to today's episode of Comms Business Live. I'm Charlotte, editor of Comms Business, and I'm delighted to be joined by Paul North, head of regional sales at CityFibre. Welcome to the show, Paul.
Thank you very much, Charlotte. Great to be here.
Great to have you with us. And as head of regional sales for CityFibre's wholesale business, Paul works closely with partners to accelerate their business growth. And something that's becoming increasingly important is the hyperlocal approach to business development. So first off, what is that hyperlocal approach?
Yeah, absolutely. So a hyperlocal approach working with CityFibre is having a very specific sales and marketing focus on a single town, city or region dedicated to delivering quality connectivity services with full fibre with ourselves. And it's a real true and clear focus on supporting the local business community as well, and talking about driving social and economic success for that town or city or location.
And why is this strategy something that the channel could really benefit from, and how has that kind of shifted during the pandemic?
Yeah, sure. So I mean, in terms of the channel benefiting from it, I think there's been this rise of alternative network providers over the last kind of few years or so. You know, we see probably 60, 70, 80 active network builders now across the UK. And all of these tend to be focusing on a specific area, which might be a village, it might be multi-dwelling units, it might be some market towns. We ourselves in CityFibre are building to 285 locations across the UK, which is mostly towns or cities, and about 8 million homes. So there's a massive opportunity working with ourselves at the moment, where we're currently trying to get to 30% coverage of the UK, and we've seen that the best way of doing this is working with localized partners that really know and understand their town or their city and how it works. In terms of how the pandemic's affected this, it's been really interesting actually, because pre-COVID, most channel partners that I spoke to said that they would sell within a particular patch. So they'd sell maybe down the M4 corridor, along the M5 corridor, they'd sell within 50 miles of their office, and certainly kind of had that local focus. Now, what the pandemic brought is that everyone's had to go into this working from home environment. But I think it's really shown that, utilising things such as Microsoft Teams and Zoom, that actually businesses can really sell anywhere. And so we've spoken to some partners who have said, it's really changed their thinking about how they might approach business development. But then with the pandemic itself, what's coming out as part of this is a real community spirit, I think, has come out across the UK, kind of thanks to the pandemic. And we're seeing this real push towards buying local and supporting local. I'm seeing it a lot in my own local town around things that are going on, be it activities or how can we help support the local economy? How can we help hospitality locally? And I think everyone's kind of in a shared mindset of buying local first. And so I think having this hyper-local approach is an ideal timing really coming out of the pandemic.
Definitely. And I think just where everyone has been staying in their local areas over the past year, people have just got to know their town or their city a little bit better. And it's makes sense that would kind of translate into a business environment to really focus on what can benefit your local area.
Absolutely, yeah. There's been a lot of it. As I say, I've found a few lovely local walks on my doorstep, and I've seen some great things on LinkedIn about, gosh, never realised how beautiful my town was or how beautiful my city was, and places that people discovered. So I think it's brilliant. It's something that's good that's came out of the last year.
Definitely. And you've touched on a few areas there that CityFibre really nurtures this hyperlocal approach. But are there any other examples you'd point at about how CityFibre supports the hyperlocal approach?
Yeah, absolutely. So my area that I run, I'm head of regional sales. So I work with the original founding partners of CityFibre's network, which we refer to as our launch partners. And I also work with what we call our city champions, who are local partners who might be based in or around one of our towns or cities, who have made a commitment to us to put their time, energy and focus into putting CityFibre at the heart of their proposition and around their central messaging. In exchange for that, we've also made a commitment to them, so they become a very strategic partner of ours. They're given private place on our website. We share with them information about our towns and cities in regards to the businesses that we pass in that city. We share with them how much we're investing into that city, what that means in regards to what the impact's going to be for the local economy, so that they can weave that into their messaging as well. And really, like, one of the key questions that we always ask a partner when we're working with them is what are their ambitions? Do they want to be a local champion? You know, do they want to be the biggest comms company in Yorkshire? Do they want to be a national provider? Are they looking to potentially sell their business in a few years? And we'll understand what their ambitions are, and then share with them what we can do to support that. And that's where, you know, I really love this part of my role. There's an awful lot of support around our accounts within CityFibre, and we're quite unique actually in comparison to some of our peers in the industry. So we actually have a role within our business called a city manager. So within each of the towns or cities that we're building in, there's a key person that's kind of responsible for driving all stakeholder engagement across that city. So they'll be involved at local business events, they'll be speaking to the council regularly, they'll be getting involved in cultural activities, and we really encourage our city champions to work closely with that city manager and with our regional account management team, to kind of really understand everything that's going on across that town and city, and how they can tap into it and what opportunity that may give them. And it's proven to work really, really well over the last few years for us.
And where you do have these cities that have been operating on CityFibre infrastructure for kind of quite a long period of time at this point, how do you take kind of learnings from one location to help other cities or towns to really benefit from this hyperlocal approach?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we've had so good example is in the last year we launched 2 cities actually in lockdown. So we launched Derby and Plymouth. So we've got a real good system in place now where we can, as soon as we launch a city, we know what businesses we pass within that city. So what types of businesses they are as well. So what sector they're in. We have things like their SIP code, how many people they employ, and we can look back at previous success we've had in other cities. So we can look at the statistics around what types of businesses buy our services. So are there particular sectors that like to buy our services? Are there sweet spots? So, you know, 20 to 50 employees are ideal for our services. And we can take that and map it to our new city and share that information with the partners that work with us in that hyper-local approach. So a good example being, you know, our city, with a couple of city champions across Derby, where we're able to say to them, we're now launching Derby, this is how many businesses we pass, this is what's worked really well in other cities. And quite quickly they can start to formulate a kind of sales and marketing campaign around that, really.
Yeah, and it sounds like there's some real data-rich insights that you guys can provide your partners to help them, like you said, really understand what businesses will be interested in and what they might need.
Yeah, absolutely. We're really big on data and statistics. So that's where we'll speak to our partner to understand what type of businesses do they like selling to. Do they work with particular sectors? Do they have a sweet spot that they work with, which a lot of the channel tend to do so. And then we'll work on supporting and providing the data of those businesses that those types of businesses we pass. We can, you know, get things like senior decision maker email addresses and numbers for them. So we can give them a lot of ammunition that straight away they can go, oh great, I can see now I can go and target these 1,000 businesses. And then we'll also share with them some ideas around, you know, how to bring the full fibre message to life a little bit more, what the opportunity is for the UK, what it means for that local town or city as well. So there's lots of things that we bring into it, which just makes it much easier for the partner to then go in and start speaking about that service. And
talking of full fibre there, it's obviously something that's really set to transform the UK economy over the next few years, especially as the build programme really ramps up. How is this hyperlocal approach going to help contribute to CityFibre's full fibre vision?
I think it's going to be absolutely crucial to our vision. So, you know, CityFibre's success really has traditionally been through this hyperlocal method. You know, since its inception of launching our first city, we would work with a local partner and who understands that town and the city. They know it better than us probably, so they'll be able to say, yeah, this is a great place for you to build. You need to build out to this business park, or you should really be over here in this industrial estate. This is a key part of the town or city. So we find that the partner's local knowledge is really crucial to us. And I think that, you know, we're seeing a massive shift in the industry at the moment. So the latest statistic shows that 18% of the UK can get access to full fibre services now, or FTTP. So we've got a long way to go to get to 100% ubiquitous coverage. Our part that we're playing in it is that we want to build to 30% of the UK by 2025. So there's this huge opportunity in the channel now where, you know, we're looking at there's this is the biggest change in internet infrastructure in my lifetime of working in this industry, and what will be probably for the next 30, 40, 50 years. You know, the infrastructure that's being put in the ground today is going to be there for the future. So there's a fantastic opportunity for the channel. And kind of in regards to the why we know that the hyperlocal piece works is we've worked with, over the last year or so, a number of ISPs who are selling our consumer services. So, you know, we're working with the large names, the household names that people would know, like Vodafone. But what we've seen a shift is that some of the partners that we work with who traditionally sell business services have moved into create a separate consumer or residential brand. And they've done absolutely brilliant with it, because their messaging has been really focused around that kind of that local piece. So this is a historically bad town or city for connectivity, and you know, everyone can relate to that. You've got slow broadband speeds at home, you've got slow broadband speeds at work, perhaps. So they can really kind of tap into it. They can make their messaging very, very attractive and kind of on point with what that town or city is. So there's one in particular that we work with in Scotland who really focus on the fact that they're in the Highlands, and a lot of their messaging is around the Highlands, and it works really well for them. And I think that's something that I think, you know, there's an opportunity to do so much more of that over the next 3 or 4 years.
Definitely. And just going back to other examples of partners that have done really well out of this hyperlocal approach, are there any other examples that you'd point to that really prove that this does work?
Yes, I mean, so as I said before, the launch partners that we worked with, were the original founding partners of CityFibre's network. So the majority of them, prior to working with CityFibre, were kind of traditional telecoms resellers, you know, selling hosted voice over IP or selling fixed broadband services, that saw this kind of full fibre opportunity with CityFibre, and decided to kind of transform their business model to make it a bigger part of what they've done. And it's paid dividends for all of them. You know, so some of them have actually gone on to sell their business, and it's been something that's helped to really increase the value of their business. And others have seen you know, their turnover double or triple. So our most successful launch partner prior to working with us was selling traditional broadband services. In the last 3 years, they've sold just over 200 on-net CityFibre circuits. So, you know, the approximate value of an Ethernet circuit, that's massive. It's about 5 or 6 Ethernet circuits per month, which prior to that they were doing 2 or 3 with BT. So it not only doubled their order volume by working with us, but it's also kind of transformed their business and created more opportunity for them to go and sell into those businesses as well. And talking about it, you might think, gosh, has that initial opportunity gone? But it hasn't at all. You know, we passed just under 100,000 businesses today, and you know, we still got a long way to go to hit the goals that we wanted in terms of our network. And there's so much opportunity in so many of our cities left. But I believe that actually we're going to be joined on the next call by a partner that I work very closely with called Logicoms. They're based in Edinburgh, and they've been a city champion of ours for about 1.5 years now. Really exciting business, got some serious momentum at the moment, and won some incredible opportunities over the last 12 months. So although I can sit here all day and sing the praises of CityFibre and talk about the company that I know and love, I look forward to them hopefully sharing a similar success story with you when we speak next.
Definitely. And it sounds like relationships are really important to making this hyperlocal approach work. And you've mentioned at various times different stakeholders like local businesses, the local council. What advice would you give to a partner kind of looking to make that work and really understand what the local area needs?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would absolutely encourage them to reach out to us and speak to us. You know, as mentioned before, there's 285 locations we're building in now. So there's probably a chance that you're in somewhere or right close to one of our building. So we can share that insight into that town or city with you. So we can share, you know, what we're investing into that town or city, what that's going to be worth for the local economy, all the things that we're supporting across that city as well. We're huge on CSR and community engagement. So we at CityFibre will support things like, you know, local children's football teams, local charity events. We'll do all sorts of things because we want to show that we're coming in to transform the infrastructure and help the success of that town or city, and that's really important to us. So and we love sharing that detail with the partners. So, you know, if that sounds like something you're interested in and want to really make even more of a difference in the location you are than perhaps you are today, then do encourage you to speak to us so we can share that information, and between us we'll be incredibly successful.
Lovely. And there will be some links in the video below, in the description below this video, so that if you want to find out more, you can easily get in touch with the guys at CityFibre. And that brings today's discussion spotlighting the hyperlocal approach to business development to a close, and something to look forward to next time there with the Logicom case study, where they'll be talking about their experiences with CityFibre's partner programme. Thanks, Paul, for your time today, and thanks to you at home for watching.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you.